Hello students, now we are going to start Standard 8, Chapter number 2, Parallel Lines and its Transversal. Let us understand what are parallel lines. Parallel lines are those lines, students, which do not intersect at any point. Parallel lines are those lines which do not intersect. Even though we extend this line till any point, it will never ever intersect. Such two lines are called as parallel lines. For example, here, the first line, let us name it as line AB, line AB. And the second line, line CD. Now students, as you can see here, line AB and CD, if we extend this line to any point, it will never intersect. And if we take another example, such as two lines, line PQ and line XY. Let us take two examples of line PQ. Let us name this as line PQ and line XY. Now, when you look at line PQ and line XY, students, do they intersect? Now, when we look at those lines, now at the moment, we can't see it intersecting with each other. But if we extend this line further, suppose if I am extending this line from this P, if we extend this line further, then these two lines will intersect each other at one particular point. That means PQ and XY, they may not seem as an intersecting lines now, but if we extend them, they will definitely intersect. So hence we cannot say that line PQ and line XY are the parallel lines. So what are the parallel lines? Parallel lines are those lines which will not intersect even though we extend it till any point. So two lines, two or more than lines which do not intersect each other are called as parallel lines. So write the definition of the parallel lines, students. Two or more lines. Two or more lines which do not intersect with each other at any point. Are called as parallel line. Now the next topic which we are going to study, students, after parallel line is transversal. Let us understand what is transversal. If we have two parallel lines and if a line is intersecting these two parallel lines, if a line is intersecting these two parallel lines, for example, here we are having line AB and CD. Okay, so if we cut these two lines like this with the help of another line, the third line, let this line be PQ. Let the third line, we will name it as PQ. So what is PQ doing? PQ is intersecting line AB and line CD. So let us assume that PQ is intersecting line AB at point X. And PQ is intersecting line CD at point Y. Okay, so a line which intersect the two parallel line at two distant points is called as transversal. So what is transversal? If a line intersect given two lines in two distinct point means two different points, then that line is called as the transversal. So here students, PQ is the transversal because it is intersecting the two parallel lines. Now whenever a transversal is intersecting two parallel lines, how many angles are formed? Let us see how many angles are formed. So here the first angle is formed. This is angle number 1. Angle number 1. Okay. Then again this is angle number 2. Angle number, this is a third angle. This fourth angle. Fifth angle. Sixth angle. Seventh angle. And eighth angle. So whenever a transversal cuts two parallel line, or transversal cuts two parallel line, how many angles are formed, students? 8 angles are formed. Always keep this in mind. It may come in the fill in the blanks or MCQ also. How many angles are formed by a transversal and two parallel lines? So 8 angles are formed. Now, this 8 angles, we name it as the corresponding angles. There are different names for this 8 angles. The first thing we are going to study is the corresponding angles. Now let us understand what are corresponding angles. Corresponding angles means what? Suppose we are having two parallel lines and a transversal is cutting these two parallel lines. So what are the corresponding angles, students? The corresponding angle is, suppose we take the first angle as this angle, this angle. This is the first angle. So corresponding angle, to search the corresponding angle, we will go either upward or downwards. Remember this, to search the corresponding pair of angle, will go either upward or downward, no sidewards. Now this is upward, this is downwards. We'll go either upward or downward. Now if I go upward from this angle, there is no angle, so I will go downwards. So downward, this is the next adjacent angle. So don't take that adjacent angle, leave that angle, and the next one is the pair of the corresponding angles. That means, what is the pair of the corresponding angles? If we take one particular angle, we have to leave the adjacent angle and go for the another one. If we take one particular angle, leave the adjacent angle and go for another one. So these two pairs are the corresponding angle. So when we look at this figure where we have marked angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So students, what is corresponding angle? It is like corresponding angles in our first figure. Corresponding angles is when we take angle 8. So the adjacent downward is angle 7. So leave that angle and the next one is 6. So that means the first pair of corresponding angle is angle 8 and angle 6. Next, second one. The second pair of corresponding angle is, suppose if we are taking this angle, this one. See here on the here suppose we are taking this particular angle, then what is the corresponding angle of this? So if we go upward, so when I go upward, here is one adjacent angle, and above that we don't have any angle. So we have to go downwards. So let us go downwards. So when we go downward, this is the adjacent angle. Downward, this is the first angle adjacent. Leave this angle, go for the next one. That means what we are doing, we are leaving the next adjacent angle and we are taking the angle next to that adjacent angle. So these are the corresponding angles. So that means when we look at that 1, 2, 3, 1 to 8 angles, so the corresponding angle is angle 7 and angle 5. Next, the third corresponding angle. Now, if we go for the next side, that means if we take this angle, what is the next pair of corresponding angle for this? So the next pair of corresponding angle is, we'll leave the adjacent angle, and next to adjacent angle is this angle. So in numbers, we can say that this is angle 1 and angle 3 are the corresponding angles, and corresponding angles are equal angles, students. So that we will write afterwards. And now the next one, let's go for the last pair of the corresponding angle. And the last pair of corresponding angles are, if we take this particular angle, then we have to go downwards. Next to adjacent is this angle. So this is the last pair of the corresponding angle. So the last pair, the fourth pair of the corresponding angle is angle 2 and angle 4. So how many pairs we get? We get 4 pairs of corresponding angle. 4 pair, students, we get when two parallel lines is intersected by one transversal. So when two parallel line is intersected by one transversal, we get 4 pairs of corresponding angles. Now these corresponding angles are equal, students. So wherever we have written and, it is actually angle 8 is equal to angle 6, angle 1 is equal to angle 3, angle 7 is equal to angle 5, and angle 2 is equal to angle 4. So corresponding angles are equal. So you have to practice, students. Make yourself 2 parallel lines, name it as any alphabet, make one transversal, name that transversal, give the point of intersection, name the point of intersection, and you have to write the name of the angles. Now here we have written numbers for you to make it easy for understanding, but in the sum we will not write numbers, we'll write the name of the angle. So students, let us write the name of the angles. Come on, you are going to tell me the name of the angles. Now, the first one, angle 8. What is angle 8? We are going to write the name of the angle in the place of angle 8. So angle 8 is angle PXB, angle PXB, PXB. Angle 6 is angle XYD, angle XYD. Like this, you have to write the name of all the remaining angles. In the next video, we are going to study alternate angles and interior angles. So these are the 3 types of angles we get from two parallel lines and one transversal. Those are the alternate angles, the interior angles, and the corresponding angles. So to study the alternate angles and interior angles, that we will study in the next video, students. Till that, practice this topic, keep working hard, happy learning. Thank you.